Right, welcome to today's lecture where we are going to discuss the next step in the be part, who you have to be. So remember with Coach Calvin, we cover be, do and have. The be part is your mindset, the part people can't see. The do part is your actions you take, that's what people can see. And the actions usually results from what's in your mind, the be part. So mostly you will act out in what you're thinking. So your thinking is important because that will result in the actions you take, or the activities you do, or the skills you have at a work or at your small business. And then the results part is the have part. So you will measure the results. Now, everything we do, and it's I'll call it the elephant in the room. We don't talk about this thing called time. Time is a very important factor in any business. For any business owner, time is an important factor, but it's not talked about. But if you are an owner, you get obsessed with time. Why? Because certain amount of stuff has to happen in a certain amount of time. And you will find that a boss is extremely worried about the time. Not a manager, because they're getting paid and the staff is getting paid. But why do you think is the owner so obsessed with time?
Because the quicker you get things done, the more...
Oh, yeah, that's obvious. The quicker you do things, the more it gets done. That's obvious. But the reason why he's got time is important for him, because he's running out of money. Time, because you've got capital when you have a business, and you want to diversify, you want to do a new business unit, that means you've got capital. So that new business unit must start producing money. And it must start producing profit faster than what this business unit can gulp the money, so that you can make a profit. Any new venture you start, right, is capital intensive. And then once the venture, after a period of time, then it starts making profit. And then the entrepreneur says, okay, my job is done. That venture is making profit, and the entrepreneur goes on to the new venture. And he takes the capital and he wants to start a new venture. And then there's time again, because that venture must work before he runs out of money. And again, I can use the example of Elon Musk and his two major businesses, which is obviously the Starship rocket, SpaceX, and the car business that he has, electric car business. So every time he's diversifying, and he's got a new thing going, and then he's running out of time. So where do you think he's pushing for time on the car business? Right, he was pushing for time now to make the electric cars be self-driven. That's sort of his mission. But he's not scared that he's running out of time. Why? Because Tesla's making enough profit. But if it wasn't making profit and he's obsessed with Tesla, then he's obsessed because he's going to run out of profit, he's going to run out of capital before the profit is made. So now the other projects he's not so obsessed about. You don't hear him so obsessed about self-driving cars, but there seems to be a bit of an obsession with the robots that he wants to do for the factories. So he's really going into AI, and he's scared about what AI can do for the future, and he wants to build his own robots, and he's scared of AI. So he wants to overcome AI. In other words, put it under control in a way. So why I'm saying that is because time is like the elephant in the room. Some people are obsessed with time, some people are not obsessed with time. But whether you like it or not, anything you start has got a time limit, and then there's a measurement. So nothing runs forever. There is a start and an end. Okay, so let's not focus too much on time, because I want to focus on diversifying and the new team. Right, so you would have heard that last week we spoke about what was the key thing we focused on last week?
Getting out of your comfort zone.
Right. So you had to get out of your comfort zone. So when you get out of your comfort zone, it means you are trying new things. So if you are diversifying and starting another business unit, it's new, so you will get out of your comfort zone. Right? So you will find if you don't start anything new, then you are in a comfort zone. So if a business is just doing the same thing year after year and it's not diversifying, then it is staying in its comfort zone. Right, so if we give a course and let's say we give, let's say I do computer training and I do all the software training and I do CorelDRAW, Adobe Photoshop, all the design programs, and web is the new thing taking over, and I don't diversify into the web and start teaching web as well, or start making web part of the business, then I'm not diversifying. And as soon as I'm starting to learn web and getting involved with web design, it's something new, so I have to get out of my comfort zone. I'm going to make mistakes, it's going to be new to me, and then once a certain period of time has passed, then I'm no longer in, then that out of the comfort zone becomes into the comfort zone again, because then I know how to do it. As soon as you've got something waxed and you're good at it, and it's fitting in with your time, you start becoming complacent and you start getting into a comfort zone. That's when you've got to look out and to do more and new things. Now the owner's answer is to diversify. Alright? To get out of this comfort zone. Now, I'm talking about the B part. Right, so the B part is your mindset. What you're thinking. What is happening inside of you, right? So if you are talking about the B part and you are obsessed, or let's say you are driven to make, let's say, something succeed, like let's say, for example, the red drum or the web design classes, you're obsessed or you're driven to make it succeed, then it means you are used to what you're doing, but you're getting out of your comfort zone, because you are learning new things, you are making mistakes, and you are expanding your boundaries, and you are starting to get to the stage where it will become in your comfort zone again. What do you think that period of time is? Because I'm talking about time as well. Eh? So if you get out of your comfort zone, you either then make that new boundary a comfort zone again. So let's say this is your comfort zone. And you get out of your comfort zone and you expand your boundaries. After a certain amount of time, that becomes your comfort zone again, and then you're going to expand it again to get out of that comfort zone, and you're going to get out of it again, and you're going to expand, and then it's going to become your new comfort zone. And what do you call this? Growth. Growth. So some people stay there forever, and some people just grow, and some people don't grow. And to grow your business, or as a person, or whatever, you need to get out of your comfort zone. And the number one quality inside of you that people don't see is people who grow or show results usually have got this one quality. They seem to be so obsessed. They seem to be so extreme. Calvin, relax. Calvin Academy is making enough money for you. Relax. Why do you want to push red drum? Why don't you want to go further with that? Relax. Because the quality you must have is you must be obsessed or driven. Now, tell me, if you've got 10 people and you talk about the quality inside the B part of a good attitude, how many people do you think out of 10 people in a work environment, including the boss, the manager, and the workers, out of those 10, how many do you think out of 10 would have a good attitude? 4 out of 10, 5 out of 10, 8 out of 10, 2 out of 10? Right, let's say there's a boss and a manager. They better have a good attitude, otherwise they wouldn't have a business. 2 out of 10, then it means 8 workers don't have a good attitude. Do you think workers have a good attitude mostly? Yeah, come on, let's give a guess. You give a guess. And out of 10, how many would you give? Good attitude.
Good attitude, I'd say about 6.
6. Okay, so 6 out of 10. So you notice it because you're the manager, and you notice it by the people you see and around. So you make an estimation, right? But what about being obsessed and driven? The boss is driven, not necessarily the workers, but you might say, the boss isn't driven, he's never there. But guess what? When the boss walks in, you can see the success of the business is a result of a boss that's driven. Or when he walks in, is he pally with everybody, or is he driven? Do they wake up, or does the company just keep on going down? It's sort of not growing, it's just going in and in and in, and everybody is so relaxed, and oh, there comes the boss, how's it, China? You know what I'm saying? So there's a quality called driven. And out of a company of 10, let's say 10, who would you say is driven out of the 10? If you look at 10 people, what is the chances? You gave 6 out of 10 for good attitude. How much would you give out of 10 for being driven? 2. You see, so that quality, there's little of, and the attitude, there's more of. Yet, to succeed as a business owner, and to succeed in your business, you must have this quality. Obsession driven. And being obsession driven means you're going outside your boundaries, and then when things get uncomfortable and you make too many mistakes and you're losing money, what do? You push back to your comfort zone again. You don't stay there and create momentum and go through that and make a new plan and make it work. I'll give you an example of myself. So I started web class in 2019. It's still going today. I started one-to-one training in 1994. It's still going today. Talk about time, eh? I started Calvin Academy in 2016. It's still going today. It hasn't failed. Now, yes, you can say it hasn't grown. It's maybe contracted a bit, it hasn't grown, but it hasn't failed. Why? Because I refuse to let it fail. So if I don't get an academy student next year in 2024, after I have given so much of myself and worked so hard since 2016, and I can't attract one academy student next year, you know what I'll do? I will go out and I will find that person. I will go knock the doors and I will tell them about my history and what I've offered and what I've done. And I'll get that person to understand. I won't rely on marketing. I'll do one-to-one knocking and sales and convince a person your child needs it. If I see there's an opportunity. Now, parent, you need to pay for that child. You need to bring that child into the fold. You know what I'm saying? So, what I'm trying to get to you is that as a business owner, you have to be driven and you've got to be obsessed about your business and what you've done. So if you're the manager and you've got shareholder in a business, you've got a share in it. If you haven't got a share on it, then you might as well just give up and go somewhere else. But guess what? One doesn't give up on your passion. Because then, let me talk about your passion. So let's say your passion is building websites. Anything related to websites, IT related to websites, social media marketing is related to it, Facebook ads is related to it, e-commerce is related to it. That's your food. That's where you get excited. Right? Now, where do I get excited? I get excited about web class up to a point. Then I get excited about growing the business, growing the people in the business, coaching the people in the business, growing the business. What's the difference between a coach and an entrepreneur? Well, I wouldn't want to say coach. Or what I'm trying to say is, An entrepreneur tends to work alone. He works on his business, and is not so worried about the team people, because he will employ the best managers. He's got the money, he needs to grow the business, he takes his money, he employs the best person, he puts them in that situation, he gives it a time limit of 6 months. Does this person perform or not? I've paid such a lot for the person. Now that manager or that owner must perform. So the manager or the owner is going to perform because of the income that he gets, but also if there's a passion for what he wants. Now here's the thing. When you get to being a coach, and I'm talking about now, typical coach is of a sports team. You take the rugby team, you take, in the old days, the soccer team. The coach is key and central, because the difference between being a coach is you're not just coaching skills. You're coaching the B part. You're coaching what's in the person's head, the culture, the attitude. You coach the whole person. The manager only coaches the skills, and he advises on the employee's attitude, and you're not obsessed, but he's not making it his focus to make sure that person turns around and develops into the right person. The manager will make sure that whatever the skills that person has to create websites, he will focus on teaching that skills in that websites to become better at making websites. So the manager can make the skills go better, but he can't make the person go better. The manager can make the skills go better, not the person. The coach can make the person go better and employ the right manager to make the skills go better. Can you see the difference? So if you've got a good coach and a good manager, you can have a good business. Because the coach focuses on the be part, the manager focuses on the do part. And then both look at the results. You cannot teach somebody to be something. You can teach or advise the person, and then that person can say, wow, yes, I agree with that. I want to be like that. I want to be obsessed. I want to be driven. Calvin, show me how to be driven. Calvin, show me how to be obsessed. I want that quality. Because did you know that an entrepreneur will pick somebody with average talent but highly driven? We always think the skill. We need a Ronaldo. Oh, you know what the Wallabies team needs to succeed? It needs the best players. Oh, let's go get players from overseas again into the Wallaby team. No. What they need is they've got the skills, they need the right mindset. They need to be more driven, more obsessed, like the South African teams. You know, now they've got the skills, the Wallabies, they can pass the ball or whatever. Now they're losing. Second half, they're losing. Oh, well, I'm still getting paid. So they don't step up. But the Springboks, if they lose, they say, damn it, we can't lose. They step up to the plate. The elders gets the younger people, and they say, come on, we both got skills. You've got average skills, I've got better skills, but I depend on your little average skill as well. Step up. So everybody steps up. So the average suddenly looks powerful because they're working together as a team. They're working for each other. They're friends, they're dedicated, they trust each other. We're in a business. Do you see people, the workers trust each other? No, I go to work and I'm not going to tell anybody about myself at work. I'm going to be a robot at work. Because should I tell them about myself and I reveal who I am, they're going to criticize me and there's going to be fights and frictions. Of course there is. Because there's no trust. You first got to check out the person. Can I trust him? Nope. Oh, can I trust him? Nope. Can I trust him? Yes. Then we build a relationship. You know who you can trust and you know you don't trust, and then you build your relationship. You got to know who your team is. So I'm talking about now team today. And so when I talk about team, I'm talking about trust. We've already covered obsessed last week when you extending your boundaries to become obsessed. But now how do you turn that obsession into trust? So Stanley doesn't know it, but you had to do a little practical exercise to get out of your comfort zone. So you had to go to a new environment. Now you're going to step a little bit further, and I'm going to teach you about trust, is when you go into the new environment with another person. You take him along. That's your next step. So you're going to go somewhere, and you're going to take somebody along with you. Also, where the person hasn't been. You see? Where you haven't been, where the person hasn't been. So what's it now? Now it's a new environment. It's out of this comfort zone. That guy's out of his comfort zone. You out of your comfort zone. You're both out of your comfort zone. Now you're going to see how can you develop trust in that person, and how can he trust you. Because people, if you're in your comfort zone, you think you know the guy. When you're out of the comfort zone, you say, who's that guy? Look how he's reacting. He doesn't normally act like that. It's because he's out of his comfort zone. Okay, so just to end off in the video, it's very important to, when you diversify, and because you've got to grow, so you've got to be sure that you diversify. And when you diversify, you need a new team, because you need new people on board. You can't make the existing people work harder and longer hours. And many people do that. But that's unfair, because they don't get compensated for it. Or they get compensated with a title here and a title there, a little bit of an increase. No, the best solution is getting somebody and then go together as a new team, as a new force, and cope with the work that needs to be done. So, teamwork is very important, and you have to trust your team. And that is the manager's job, is just to get the skill levels good and to watch and see how you can motivate the person. So you've got to be aware of the person's weak points, strong points, because you get to know them, and then how can you motivate the person. Okay? The boss can't do that, or the owner can't do that, because he's not with the person every day. So trust has to be built, because you're with a person over a 6-month period. So in that, as the months go by, you build the trust. Now, how do you build trust with another person? Here's the key, here's a little hint. How do you build trust in another person? When you yourself is trustworthy. Let's say you are teaching, you're expecting Christian to do something. Then you must be able to do it yourself if Christian was gone. So in other words, you should be able to do the design that you've been watching over if Christian is not there. If you can't do that job that Christian is doing, I'm not saying you have to know the design and the Coral Draw to Christian's level. I'm not saying you've got to know Photoshop to the level of Stanley, because that's where he's improving. I'm not saying you've got to know to that extent, but you've got to know enough so that when Stanley's gone or he's gone, you could be able to do it with a little bit you know. You see what I'm saying? As a manager and as an owner, you should be able to take over. Now, Stanley and Christian, whoever looks up to you, do you think they're going to look up to you if you don't have even the basic skills to take over their work? No, they won't. You'll only trust a guy if he can be as good as you or better than you. You're not going to trust a guy that's you're not going to listen to a guy that is less skilled than you. He's the boss. He doesn't know what it takes to do a design or how long it takes to design. But now, he's with you all the time. He's going to be reasonable when he said he knows how long that's going to take you, and he knows how long that's going to take you. Walks in the boss, and the boss wants things now, then he can calm the boss down and say, but sir, it doesn't take so quick. Yeah, but it takes so quick. He doesn't understand. You understand. So what happens? There's understanding. So when you are trustworthy yourself, understanding. You know what their capabilities are. You understand each one's capabilities. You understand when you can push them or when they are not, when they're being lazy. There's better understanding because you're with them all the day. So your job is to build trust through time, through helping, through training with the skills. You will build trust. Alright, and then it's a process. You don't just walk in and say, gee, I trust you. No, things you will check him out. So that is why I'm saying is don't trust so easily, but again, don't be disappointed so easily. Just because I'm trustworthy, I mustn't expect trustworthiness from everybody. You build on it. So what I'm trying to say is, you as the top person must have the patience with the other person, and you must know what your expectations can be. It's a process. You can't say, oh, but you said this and I said that, so you can't be trusted. No, you don't go according to that. You go according to actions. How does a person act? And then if you know the person can do that, find out why wasn't Christian working so hard today. Is something bothering him? Give you some understanding. You know when he's off or when he's not on. And it's the same when you do it with Stanley. Guys, I don't know you guys so well, but I know Daniel very well. So I'm going to wrap it up by saying to you that to have a team, you have to know that when you're a business owner or management, you are working with people, and you as the owner must be able to trust your team to the point where there's understanding, and in time when you build up the trust, you take out the layers of them, you get to know the person, and you give of yourself. So remember, you as the owner first give of yourself and be disappointed in the trust that you gave. Don't expect that person to give of themselves first. So I'll be more vulnerable. I'll tell Daniel my life. I'll tell him about my hardships. I'll tell him about who I am. And it might not be great, but if I think he can understand it, then we've got something we can work with. And then he'll tell me where he comes from. And we'll look at our vision and our goals and our values and see if it's on the same page. And if our values and goals is on the same page, and we'll be open and transparent and work together. But why does the teams fail in the rugby and in the soccer, whatever? Because what people say is not exactly authentic or honest. They're not communicating with their coach honestly. No, coach, I will be there for you. And when the game is on, they're not there. So what I'm saying is, this works through what I call a chain link. Think of this as a chain link. Alright, so this is a chain link, right? Now, if this is the owner, right? And the owner is dependent on the manager, right? And the owner is so dependent on the manager that the owner is willing to give a share of his company to the manager. Not just a big salary, but a share of the company. If he's willing to do that in time, and he knows that that manager will take over the company when he's gone one day, because things change in time, then there has to be a strong bond between the manager and the owner, in terms of trust, in terms of what you say. So if I say to you, you've got to own the company one day, I'm not just saying it just so that you can work and make the company go great. Could be a thought in the back, but you've got to know the person as you walk the journey. When is it payday? When is it the half part? When is it results part? It's not results part now. Now the part is there needs to be trust, there needs to be team, there needs to be obsession. There needs to be working together for each other. Because you can't do it alone and I can't do it alone. No business owner can be successful on his own. He needs the best managers. He can pay for them, But he's also got to make sure that they are the best and that they can be trusted. And they can walk a path together for the future. Right, so let's say, for example, there's the strong link, unbreakable chain. Guess what? This could be a rope. This could be the weak link. Because the relationship between the manager and the staff could be so poor that this chain can only work if it's a chain and not a piece of rope that can break. Because where would this break? If you had to pull this, where would it break? At the rope. At the staff level. Then whose fault is it? It's not the owner's fault. It's the manager's fault because he hasn't built up he hasn't made the staff obsessed. He hasn't made the staff trustworthy to trust. So what does he do? He can't do that. He's got to give them skills. So what he's got to do is he's got to say to the owner, these two guys need coaching. Send them away for coaching. Team building. Let them get to the values I need. Because their skills is okay, but their values aren't okay. Take them on a team building, get a coach for them, get them to change. Because I'm the manager, I'm not a coach. The owner will say, you manager, you not got the values and the thing for success, I'm going to send you to a coach on a team building exercise. The only thing is that, good thing is that I've been a coach all my life. I've been growing people all my life. Trying for people to be better people. And I lead by example. I constantly try to lead by example. Am I obsessed and driven? Yes, I passed step number 1. But are you obsessed and driven? Then the second thing is, can I be trusted and do I put trust in people? Do I build trust? Yes, I do. I've built it for 2 years. I've built trust with Colin. And he let me down. And now I'm building trust with Daniel. And if he lets me down, I have to know why. So that there's some part in me that's wrong. So I have already identified what I think I did wrong with Colin. And I'm going to share it with you after the video because that's a separate story. But can you see, guys, my lecture today or my thing to you today is to have a strong business. You need a strong owner, a strong manager, and strong staff. And the part that you have to be starts with step 1 going to step 2. Step 1 is being obsessed. Step 2 is to be trustworthy and to trust. Thank you very much.